Now in this session we actually want to create the footer. So we're going to head back to our code and we're going to work on the footer page. You notice there is already a footer and we've got an echo footer in here. What I want to do with the echo now is I actually want to put maybe a copyright symbol out. So I'm going to go echo. Echo is the term we use for print. And what we're going to do, we're going to print some text out. But in particular, we're going to print out some HTML. I can actually set a class if I want to. But if I'm not going to use the class at the moment, I can just leave it blank like this. And then I can have the copyright. Now, if I want the @ symbol to appear, or if I want the copyright symbol, some people just use this symbol here, which is C in 2 brackets. But probably the best thing to use is the actual breakout sort of code, which is N copy. And this will put the actual HTML copy symbol in. And then I'm just going to put a semicolon after that. And then I can have some other information. So if I wanted to, I can put my website. I can then also put the date in there. So I could put like 20XX, whatever the date is. And then I can have further information on the next line. So I'm just going to press enter there. So what I can do now is echo. And because there's no break at the moment, there's no break tag on the end here, this will all be one continuous line. So you don't have to worry about it having to be a very long line of code. We can actually break it up, and when it compiles, it will come up as a block of code. So we can have who it was designed by, and this way the end user can see who designed it. And then I can put a link if I wanted to, so I can use an href tag. And then I can put the visible text as well. So I can have Leon Marsden. You could link that to your Facebook profile, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all those sort of Instagram, anything that allows for communication. Then I can close that attribute tag. Now I can continue on without having to close off that line. And I could have another link to an href, and I'm just going to indent that just so it sits nicer, and I can put another link. But remember, when it compiles, it's going to be one flat line. And if you want someone to check your CSS, you can actually do this at jigsaw.3.org CSS validator. So that will check the CSS of the page. Then we can put the N symbol on the end. And if you want to validate your HTML5, you can also go to validator.3 as well and validate your HTML5. So let's save this and see if our footer is built correctly. Now sometimes you may not want to let your footer go that long before you check it back in your browser. So let's refresh. There we go, and it's working quite alright. Now at the moment the footer's not centered, so maybe we should do that to make it look better. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to go into the CSS and we're going to adjust the footer in here. So we're going to use the tag footer. We're going to open up a brace and close that brace. And what do we want to do the footer? So first of all, I'm going to just remove that space. And I'm going to do the same at the top. I'm just going to keep really consistent and keep those tight. So what I want to do is text align, and I want to make that center. So that should put it in the text for me. Also, I'm going to put some padding at the top. So if I do the padding at top, it'll make sure that the text is a little bit lower, and it's only going to be 10 pixels. So it just moves it down just a little bit inside the box, so it should be good. I can also set the width of the box as well, and normally it's going to be 1024, and that's going to be pixels. That's a sort of standard size that I use, but depending on the display that you want to use, if you want to make it responsive, you can adjust that as you go. And we're going to put a height in for the box, and that again is going to be 50 pixels. It's generally big enough for a one line sort of footer. And we're just going to leave it as that. We can set a background color, but we won't do that at the moment. And now when I go back and check it, let's go into our browser and check it. So let's go in our browser and check it now. I'm going to refresh. Now the footer's moved into the sort of the middle, but it hasn't lined up very well with that. So let's go set our header with a width of 1024 as well. So we're now going to make a header. And we'll save that. Now refresh. And now that's starting to line up together there. It's not all centered yet, and we can work on that as we go. So we're going to get rid of the word footer here. So we're just going to go back into our footer file. Up the top here, we've got the echo footer. We're just going to rend that out at the moment. Just comment that out, save, refresh. There we go, there's our footer, there's our number guess. We can move the menu into the center. That's going to be our next thing now, is to work on the menu system.